So hopefully I sound a little bit better on the recording this week. I'm going to record the lab for this week, this first week of after break. I am assuming that some people aren't going to be able to get their software running just because of some emails I've received. So I'm going to record it just in case, and good practice for me. So if you look on page 220 of the textbook, Autodesk Revit Architecture 2014 Fundamentals, we're going to start with practice 2A. We'll try to get into practice 2B at the same time. So it says in the application menu, click New. So we can just come up here and say New. We're going to select the architectural template, which mine is already set to. This is going to be a project. And we'll just say OK. It's going to bring up an empty drawing. And what we're going to do is just say File, Save. We're going to save this in, I'm going to go to my desktop, and we're going to look under, I'll just find one of my generic, and we'll go to our, that's probably not the right one, sorry. I think it's, let's go right in here. Yeah, I'll make it here. I'm just going to create a new folder. You can use your regular folders that you use for AutoCADs, and I'll just put in here Revit drawings or Revit exercises, because they're really models, not drawings. And double click, and we'll call this one, just by the book, we'll call it Simple Building, and hit Enter. So one of the things you need to understand about Revit is that it doesn't require a lot of input to start, because you can adjust things after the fact. So in the text, if we look on page 221, it says you're going to select the wall tool, which is right up here. And at this point, I don't even care what wall. We're going to use the default wall center line. It says draw a rectangular shape approximately 100 by 70, which doesn't sound very engineering type because it just says approximately. So I'm just going to left click down here, and I'll pull this out. There's 100 roughly. Oops, sorry. I want to do a rectangular shape. So we'll start down here. So I pull this out. There's 100 by whatever. Okay? So the actual dimension, for some reason I ended up with the right height. But this one needs to change. So I just click in the dimension. I'm just going to key in 100 feet. So you'll see my rectangle. If this is off, you just click on it, and you can adjust the height. In this case, it's just 70 feet. So there's my rectangular building shape. I can hit escape, or I can just come up here and click modify. It takes me out of it. So I've got my building. If I drag through the whole thing, and you have to hold your left mouse button down to drag this stuff, I can kind of move it. There's my align, there's my move tool, and I can just kind of move this up and over. So it kind of centers it. These are my elevation tools, so we'll get into those a little bit later. So again, we have a 100 by 70 rectangular shape for our building outline. Now we're going to go to our the next page, and it says in the architectural chat we're going to build another wall on number 11, and we're going to do a vertical, we're going to draw a wall horizontal from midpoint to midpoint. So we'll go to our wall tool, select the line element. You come down here, you'll see that you get that triangular shape just like we did in AutoCAD. There's a midpoint. Just left click, bring it all the way over till the other midpoint. You'll notice it automatically heals the edges when it comes into that. Draw another line 8 feet above that middle line. So again, we're still in this tool. So I can just come up here, and as you move your mouse, you'll see it will tell you when you reach 8 feet, or you can just key in the number. If I left click here, I'm going to pull this line over and place it right on that intersection. So we can see this. If I wanted to change this to say 10 feet, I can do it that way. Or I can bring it back to 8 feet. We'll bring it back into place. Okay? Now keep in mind we're on our level 1 floor plan, which is by default what it comes up to. Our next exercise is to draw a vertical wall exactly 16 feet from the left wall, and it's shown on figure 230 on page 2-22. So it's going to be 16 feet over. So again, we're just going to set here. I'm going to move my mouse over until it reaches 16 feet. Left click, go straight down, let it intersect this wall, and left click. The next thing we're going to do is draw on the next page, 2-23, we're going to draw a panel. We're going to select a circle. We're still in our wall tool, so we're going to select this circle tool up here. We're going to find the midpoint of our corridor wall, and we're going to draw a 16-foot diameter, or excuse me, 14-foot radius circle. So come down to 14 feet, left click, and that's it. Now if I just click the modifier, I'm just going to hit escape, pulls me out. So now we've got these walls in place. Okay. Now we're going to modify our outside wall. So if I just left click here, it says hover your cursor over one of the outside walls and hit your tab key. Oops, got to get out of there first. There we go. Should be able to select them all. I don't know why it doesn't. Maybe I just need to hold the tab key down. Oops, hit the right tab key. I don't know why it doesn't. It says press tab to highlight the chain of outside walls and click to select the walls, which I'm doing. I don't know why it keeps taking them off. See what I'm doing wrong here. Hover the cursor over one of the outside walls. Oh, I just have to hit the tab key, and then if I left click, it just takes it. So hover over and hit tab. Okay. So it selects them all. In the types selector, doesn't take them out. Maybe I got to be in the wall command. No, modify. All right, I think they missed some stuff on the textbook, so I'm going to go to Properties. That says Basic Wall Generic, so I left clicked on it. It says Basic Wall Generic. I'm going to change this wall to, if we drop this down, a Basic Wall Generic 12 inches. Let's see if they have Basic Wall. We'll change it to just Generic 12. So it only does that one. I don't know why. I can hold down my control key and select them all and then change it from 8 inch to generic 12. So I would say that's probably the best way to do it, is hold down your control key. So now instead of, excuse me, 8-inch walls, we have a 12-inch wall on the outside. And if I just let my mouse set there, it tells me it's a basic wall, generic 12 inches. Yeah, they don't say anything under 16 in the book about holding the control tab down. So if I wanted to select these, I would just select this one, hold down the control key, select this one, this one, this one, and this one. If I select this one too, you'll notice it's multiple selected. So I could actually change those all to generic 12 inches. So that screws this up. Now I have to select this one and say, no, I want that one to be an 8-inch generic. And it goes back the way it was. So it's all intuitive as to how it puts it together. Excuse me. So we're going to select one of the vertical interior walls and change it to one of the small interior petition styles. So click in the empty space to release the selection. Zoom in on this room. So I'm just going to roll my mouse ahead. I'm going to select this wall. So I'm going to select this one. And we'll call this one a interior 4 7/8 petition. Okay, so it gets a little thinner. Now we're going to zoom in to the upper room on the corner. I'll just click out here to deselect it. And we're going to place a door in this wall. So I'm going to select my door option. And there's a door. If you drop this down, you select it, you can select different size doors. I'm going to go with a let's see. Tag on element. So we want this checked off here. You can see how it's going to identify the door size. So it's 36 by 84. If I just move onto this wall, there's my door. You can see it shows up. If I move my mouse up or down, it changes the swing. So I can just kind of place this, and I want to place it 2 feet 6 inches over from the center line of that wall. So you can see my temporary dimensions show up. If I just move this in 2 foot 6 inches, I'm going to left click. The sill is at 0, so it's going to be right at the bottom of the wall. There's my door. Now if I want to change the swing, I can click these arrows. If I want to swing it in the other direction, I can click these horizontal arrows. So these are all, excuse me, editable once they're in place. You can see if I just click out here, it didn't put a tag on there because I had accidentally turned that off. So I'm just going to hit escape. I'm going to take this door out. Let's try it again. This time I want to put the place tag on element, so it should be there. 2 foot 6, left click, there it is. So now it shows it as door type 2 or door number 2. I can edit that. Let's click out here, and now I can click on this. Hit again, there we go. And we can mark it as door 1 right over here. All right, so next what we're going to do is we're going to type ZE to zoom out to full view. ZE gives you the full view of our floor plan. I can roll it back in so I can show it to you a little bit better. And we're going to place a column down here on the bottom. It just can be anywhere. So it says in the architectural tab, build panel, we're going to select, this is the build panel. We're going to select column. We're going to select a structural column. And this structural column is going to be a W 10 by 49, which is already selected. But you can see I can load up other size flanges. So I can say load family. There's columns. Rectangular column. Probably want structural columns. Steel. Wide flange would be a W. So here we have all our different size columns that we can put in here. I'm just showing you this so that you understand that we can pick from any of the standard steel column sizes. There's our W12 by 49. Yeah, it's already out here. W10 by 49, sorry. Probably down here in the bottom. There it is. So it gives us all the dimensions for that particular wide flange beam. It's 10 inches deep and it's 49 pounds per linear foot. So I'll just say, okay, this is the column. Just cancel it. So there's our wide flange beam, W10 by 49. I'm just going to place it down here. And don't worry about where it is. And I'll just ignore that little. Try it again here. Oh, I got to set the height. So in the options bar, you'll see that the depth is unconnected here. We want it to go to level 2. I want to make sure I get these. I'm going to change this to, cancel this. Height is going to be level 2. So now we can place this just on the drawing. There it is. And I'll just hit escape, hit modify. So there's our column. It says place it in the lower left-hand corner outside the building as shown. The exact location does not matter at this point. And we're going to go to our architectural tab again for column. And this time we're going to go column architectural. And I want a 24-inch by 24-inch rectangular column. So this is going to go around the outside of the steel column. So I just left click right on the center. And then hit escape a couple times to get you out of there. We've identified it as the midpoint. Use the mouse to create a selection window around the columns. So we're going to select around both of these pieces. In the modify selection set, we're going to say save the selection. We're going to call it column set. And I'm just going by the book here. Hit OK. And in the manage set, we're going to click load selection. There's the load tool now because we've saved it, the load highlights. We're going to select this and say OK. That's selected it. And in the retrieve filters, select column set and click OK. Filters. They're both checked. Just say OK. And we'll just click in the empty space to release it. So now what we're going to do is let's just do a file save. So we've saved this amount of it. I'm going to skip ahead now. We go through modifying options. We're going to get up to practice 2B, which starts on page 2-34. We're going to open up this drawing again. If you've got it closed, select the top of the circular arc wall. This one, and just delete it. Now we're going to select the copy tool. It says select the vertical interior wall, door, and door tag. So you can hold down the control key like we did on the outside walls. So we select this one and the door. and the door tag. So we've selected all those by holding down the control key. We're going to select our copy tool, and we're going to start at this base point right here, and we're going to go to the center point of this wall. Actually, it goes to the outside edge of this wall right here. So you can see it put a door. You notice it automatically, and we want to say we want to select multiple, so it'll keep copying for us. So from this side to this side, and then to this side. So we just keep copying these doors down through till we get to the end. This last one's going to be a bigger one, so I just got to hit escape. Now what we're going to do is place this door on the other side, and we're going to do a mirror axis. So this starts on page 2-36. We're going to select this door and door number. We're going to select the mirror option. It says mirror pick axis. That's this tool. We'll find the center point of this wall, go down, and you notice it makes a mirror copy of that door on the other side and automatically labels it as door number 6. So now we're going to pan to the lower left-hand section of the floor plan. I'm not sure. I think I can take this column out, but let me just drag through that and delete it because I don't think I need that now. It's already in a selection set. And we're going to create some interior petitions as shown on page 2-37. These interior petitions, we're going to select our wall tool, and we're going to select a 3 1/8 inch petition, 1 hour rated. Draw the cubicle shown in figure 2-55. Press escape twice when you're finished. And I don't think there's no height requirements, so we're just going to select that wall. I'm going to start right in this corner, actually right from the center point, and I'm going to go over a distance of 8'6". We're going to go up 8'6", and then over to the left a distance of 5. Hit escape. So now we can select both cubicle walls, so I can just left click and hit escape twice, sorry. Always do that. There's both of the walls selected. We're going to create an array, so in our modification tools we've got the array tool up here. In the options bars we're going to say linear, so this is linear. If we wanted a radial array we do it this way. The number is going to be 10. And we want to move to second, so we want this one checked off. We're going to select a point. Number 7 says in the drawing area select a point on the top horizontal cubicle. We're going to move at a distance of 8 feet, so key in 8 feet, and it creates 10 copies. Now it appears we can put more in there, so it says there's enough room is available to add 2 more cubicles. Just change this number to 12 and it will add those extra cubicles in there for us. So we got kind of this little odd space over here on the end. We're going to zoom in on this area. Let me just hit escape twice so we're out of that. We're going to select this wall, or that pair of walls, and what we need to do is ungroup these. So right here is our ungroup. It says delete the vertical wall, so we can delete this one now, and then we can select this wall and we can just bring it over until it touches that wall. And we've created our larger cubicle on the end for the supervisor probably. Okay. Now in the Manage tab, we're going to select our columns. Whoops. Manage right here. We want to select Load. So this is task number 3 on page 2-38. Select and array the column set. In the Manage tab, which I'm in, we're going to have Load. There's Selection, Load, Column Set. Hit OK. Then we go to the Retrieve Filters. Should be right there. There's Column Set. OK. Guess I shouldn't have erased it. So I'll just put it in again. I'll just create the column again. W12 by 49 to level 2. Okay. So now if I load column set, okay. Now it highlights, see how it highlights down here? We're going to use our move tool to move this object from the center point, and I can move it over until it lines up with the center point on my wall. It doesn't tell us how far to put these outside the wall, so we're not going to worry about it. Now it says modify, so we're going to go to our modify and select the array tool. This time we're going to set our options bar up again to linear. We're going to group and associate is checked off. We're going to set the number to 10. And we're going to set the move to last. So what we're going to do here now is select, first of all, the center point on this wall, go down to the center point on this wall. When I left click here, what it will do is arrange those columns equally spaced 10 feet apart all the way down across the front. If I wanted to change that to say 8 columns, it changes it to 8. If I want to click it here, go to 12 columns, that's what 12 columns look like. In this case, we're going to stick with 10 and place it in here. So at the end of this function, there's our building. Now you might ask, well, all I've done is just drawn a plan. Well, you haven't. You actually modeled this. If we look at our north elevation, for instance, here's what we're looking at. And I had one piece of steel down here on the bottom that I screwed up on. Let's look at our east elevation. There's our columns. There's our outside wall. So our south elevation should show our columns across the front. They go from level 1 to level 2. And now let's look at our 3D view. So we need to create one, so just go to View, click 3D, and we'll go to our default 3D view. There's what we've created. So if I zoom around this, we can see our doors in the corridor. Everything's in place. If I wanted to say, well, what would it look like if I'm in this building, let's go to level 1. Here's our level 1. And I want to create a view with a camera. And I want to say, what's it going to look like if I'm standing right here with a camera and my eye level is at 5 foot 6 inches and I'm just looking in this direction in perspective. This is what it's going to look like. And we can, not sure, oh, I know why, because I didn't pull my camera down far enough. So actually, go back to my level 1 view, pull this down so it goes all the way outside. And then I can click this 3D view. There we go. So now we can see all of the petitions all the way down the structure. And this gets saved as a view in the camera view. So with that in mind, let's go to our sheets. And I'm just going to right click and say new sheet. You're going to do the same thing. We'll use a large sheet on this one and just say load it up. This is a default. Whoops. Just double click on this one. So there's a sheet. It's already got a title block. We can edit any of this text in here in the title block. So we can call this one, that says it's a raster image, so we don't really want that. And just say load into project. We'll just say overwrite the existing version. So it just took that out. Now for project name, if you just double click on these, I'm going to call it my first BLDG. See if that'll fit in there. And not sure what it's looking for. Unnamed. I'm going to put CIE 101. Owner. I'm going to put my name. Issue date. We'll say 3/16-15. Author. Put my name again. Oops. Learn to spell my name. And I'll leave that there for now, just the way it is. Up here we've got some revision dates and different consultants that we might want to put in here for the drawing. So what I've got now is the floor plan. So if I just take this level 1 floor plan and just drag it, hold down my left button and drag it over. Now that shows it at, that's 1/8 inch equals a foot. So let's go back to this level 1. And let's change our scale on it to 1/4 inch equals a foot. You'll notice and you can move these things in or out. Once you change the scale, it automatically changes the text size of all the information. So I'm just selecting these, moving them in a little closer. Now if we go back to our sheet file, which is already set down here, there's our sheet 1. It already renamed it. I'm going to move it back down into place. One thing you'll notice with this, you don't have model, and I'm going to move my elevation right outside. So if I just click this by itself, I can move this independently from everything else. If I click everything, I can pull this one back in. Anytime you see the handles, you can pull that in and just pull this over. So we don't need to worry about pen weights. I've placed that outside. So if I want to print this now, that's my first assignment. I've only got the 3 elevations on here. I didn't really have, well, I guess I could pull it down a little bit closer to the bottom. So I need to pull that elevation in just a little bit tighter. So I'm going back to my level 1 floor plan. I'm going to grab this, and I'm just going to move it in about to here. And that way it'll show up on my sheet plan. Okay? And what we're going to do is up here in the application menu, click on it. We're going to say export to DWF. There's my drawing file. I can tell it what properties I want to put in here. I'm going to say next. I'm going to put this in my Revit. I'll just throw it in the Revit exercises. You should put it, and I'm going to call it C_Junkins assignment 1. Say _1, and we'll say OK. So it's actually printing that out now. And I have a program. This is actually a free program that anybody can download if you want. And so if I make sure I remember where I put this thing. So next, it's going into Revit exercises under desktop CIE 101 2015. Okay. So I'll just minimize this for now. I'm going to go CIE, find the right folder here. I think it's this one. Revit exercises. There's my DWF X file. If I double click this, what it's going to actually do is open up my Autodesk Design Review 2013, which again anybody can get for free. So if you were sending this to another engineer, they'd be able to look at it and make any comments and send it back to you. It's a full-size D-size sheet of paper, so it's a pretty good size sheet. And there's my drawing file as it comes up. You can see there's my thumbnail for the sheet, markups. So if I had any, I can measure with this tool. I can say, okay, I want to measure the length of this wall from here to here, 1212.0 inches. So I'd need to change the measure options. So it's in inches. If I want to say in feet and inches, hit OK. I can measure the length of this again. See if I can delete these out of here. Length, feet and inches. I'll make that the default. Display units, I want feet and inches, feet and fractional inches because it's architectural. Degrees, and we'll say, make this the default. We'll say OK. So now if I sent this to an architect or engineer, I want to measure from this point to this point. It's 101 feet, 0.132 inch because of the wall thickness. If I actually measured from inside this wall to this point, because remember I put this in from center line, so the actual center line dimensions are 100 feet. The actual outside dimensions end up being 101 feet, 32 inches. So he can check anything they want to check. In this corner, I want to see what the clear dimension is on this room. It's 26 foot 2 inches deep. Good size room. So that's it for this exercise. We'll take a look at it. You don't need to have this itself, but it's a way for people. I could come in here and say I've approved this drawing by just clicking. Other stamps we have, we can approved. We could actually create one with a grade on it if you wanted to, but I don't know whether Eric will get into it that much, but you can say not for construction. Any of these things we can actually even should be able to spin that around. There we go. not sure if it gives you a transparency option, but you can see how this comes in handy on this design review. So there's your first drawing. That'll be our assignment for this week. That's what we'll be doing in our lab, and I'll post this sometime after the first lab, or sometime after probably Wednesday, just so I don't want to give you too many excuses for not showing up for lab. So that is the exercise for this week, and we'll expand on this and actually start a project that we'll build on until the end of the semester. So there we go. Let's see what else we got here. Symbols. Nope. Have to work on that one. And then, of course, the person that has this can print it out as they want. And these are all the information things. If I wanted to lock that dimension note, or I can just delete them. All the things I put in here can be deleted off the side. Good deal. Thank you.